No,
That is
that
kind of
means
wild.
because that means the recording isn't hearing it either.
Right. So I was just
But
guessing.
I can get the feedback through my,
Do
and
you
usually if you can play it
believe in
this close
love
enough,
after
it'll.
love? I was just guessing.
No,
I can
no, it was
hear something
It was Despacito
inside you
by Daddy Yankee.
say. Oh, wow, you were going a really different direction. Okay, welcome back to the pod, everybody. I have not sent Phil. Okay, typically I send Phil an outline, but
I
I
get
have
show
just
notes. Usually I get show
you
notes.
get show notes, but you're getting no show notes. No, you're getting no show notes today. And the reason being, okay, we owe our listeners an apology for last week. We are pushing through. We're gonna release the episode. We're gonna release the tapes. But like we were not giving, like I think we need to have a come to Jesus about this. We were not giving what we needed to give. And I have
You
reasons
know
for
what
why I think that
audiences really
happened.
love? Like they love a build, like a kind of a comeback, not really a comeback story, but like a slow build. They love following along in a journey that is quite treacherous and tumultuous. Is that am I thinking of?
Tumultuous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we were giving what we needed to give. I think we were it felt like we were in a fight a little bit. And
We
I
were
have
just
three.
cranky. Why were we cranky?
Okay. Well, the first thing was the weather was kind of gloomy. And secondly, my makeup and my look wasn't like laying right for me. And I'm
Hmm.
never going to be in a good mood when that's happening. And I mostly blame you because most of the time you find me dashing and charming and just irresistibly funny. And you were just not into me. We weren't doing it.
It wasn't very baby girl of either of us.
That it was not very baby girl of you. So yeah, I usually send Phil an outline, but today we're just gonna kiki, the two
Wait, am
of
I
us,
being punished for last week?
kind of. Yeah, this is your punishment for last week. No, I just decided we kind of need to run with the wind and lean into the chaos. And I had to turn off Miss Rachel to record this.
Okay. It's this serious.
It's really this serious.
Also, I love how
So
confident we are that we've done what, three now. We're so early on, and it's like, you know what? Let's do the walk up to the podium and tear the notes in half. Like we're that confident.
I'm not tearing the notes in half, but I think when we share the notes with each other, I it almost leads us to write our jokes ahead of time. And
Oh,
so,
I never write my jokes.
oh, you're just that funny.
I give like a road sign toward the joke, and then I hope I know where I'm gonna land it at.
Right.
But
Well, also this podcast in particular, I have been listening nonstop. Phil knows because I'm sending him all the clips because I can't stop girlies and way too deep. I have been listening nonstop to I'm Grand Mam, which is a podcast over in I'm going to do the rest of this podcast in an Irish accent. I've been listening to I'm Grand Mam, which is like an Irish podcast. It's my two favorite gay men from Cork, and the Cork accent is very, very, very strong Irish accent. And Michael come home and I can hear myself being like, come here to me. How's your day? What will we have for the dinner? So I'm grandmam. If you're an I'm grandmam girly, so I'm calling everybody right girls. Come on, come here to me now. That's an Irishism. If your educational bit for today is Irish people are either telling people to come closer or go away, and they both kind of mean the same thing. You either say, come here to me or I go away. And I go away.
you're never in the right place for them.
You're
You're either
never, you
too
need to come
far or you're too close.
You need to come closer or you need to come here to me. Come here to me means like tell me or let's talk about this, or it really doesn't mean anything. And then go away is like really or tell me more. So they're both really the same thing, but I have been slipping into now my dad is from Ireland and I did spend a lot of time there, but I've been slipping into my Irish accent like in places where it's inappropriate and people are probably looking at me going, is she, I almost said, is she mad?
They're just not on
Uh
the internet.
no, they're not on the internet and they're really not
Cork
vibing how I'm vibing.
Cork is kind of blowing up a little bit
Is it?
because also they have that song out, The Spark. You've heard this,
Oh,
right? No?
no,
Okay, you have to go
no.
listen to The Spark. The Spark is a kid's song done these kids out of Cork, and they have this smash hit that is wildly energetic. And I'm sure people are going to know exactly what I'm talking about if you're on
Well,
TikTok because
I
the
am not
Spark
on.
song, it's all over. It's all like people are doing remixes and all, but it's just these kids. I don't know if Kimmel had them on. Someone had them on and they did it as well. So it's like, but I just like Cork is everywhere in my feed right now.
which is hysterical because it's the smallest place from the
It is.
smallest country of all
Yeah.
time. That's how Irish people are. We're just taking over, lads. All right. Anyway, um, that brings me to my next point, which was that I am not seeing anything on Instagram or TikTok because I'm about to become the most toxic wellness person you know. I am on a fast.
This is our what are you running from bit. What are you're on a fast. What are you running from?
What
So
am I
why are
running
we who
from?
started this and where did it why are we honey, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Where have you gone? So the most adorable thing about it is that I just poof didn't tell anybody. I was like, I'm going to be so mysterious and just kind of disappear, which is I'm kind of disrupting that now because I'm gonna at some point have to get back on and do my job. But the first thing that happened is I turned on my screen time and I realized that the first thing I was doing when I woke up was going onto Instagram and scrolling for a few minutes, which was setting me into a place where I was in this existential dread. And as you may know, I am a bit of an anxiety girly. Um, this podcast is sponsored by Lexapro. And I was like, okay, well, I know that that's not good for me. So let me try setting limits on myself. And that wasn't working because I'm a full fledged addict. And I'm like, I've got to know what everybody's up to all the time. And spoiler alert, none of it was ever good, or it was so great that I was like, my life is terrible and I might as well just end it now. So, I mean, it wasn't that dark, but like, I was just like, this isn't adding anything for me. And I'm just tap dancing for all the people here. And I bet they won't even miss me. I bet nobody even noticed. Nobody even noticed. And so I just, without like warning, without thinking about it, without telling anybody, I just was like, remove app. And then I was like, well, while I'm at it, I am also going to delete TikTok. Now, I did keep Facebook only because that's where I share pictures with like my Irish family and stuff. That's how I communicate with all of them. So I kept that, but I don't scroll that because there's nothing on there for me. So I'm a Pinterest girly now. If I need to scroll, all I've got is Pinterest vibes.
Pinterest is great. It's the last free frontier, to be honest. I
It's
think
the
we've
only
talked about
safe
this.
space, and it's because the men aren't there.
And the men are there are just looking for or shopping for looks. They're trying to
Right.
figure out
This
how to like DIY their bathroom for their wife.
and as an anti-man podcast, Pinterest is our main platform. So yeah, if you haven't seen me, I will be popping up to post the podcast because I can't let Phil down. But I
How is everyone like in your inner circle feeling having you not on social media?
well, Mike is delighted. He's
Okay.
delighted because he's like, you are always coming to me being like, I just saw this thing. Like his least favorite words to hear from me are, I just saw this thing. It's 5 words that he knows means I'm in a doom spiral.
Yeah.
And it could be about so many different things. We're parenting all wrong. Our marriage is going to blow up because we don't, I don't think we practice enough empathy. Like, I think I was using it for the right reasons, but you can get the wrong result from the right thing. And I almost feel like too much good information is like you're flooding yourself with, like, you can read all the self-help books in the world. You can scroll through as many like positive thinking affirmations that you want, but like eventually you have to go out into your real life and you have to live it. And I would literally be having I'd be having like interactions with the kids and I'd be like, am I doing what Dr. Becky Goodinside says that I should be doing instead of just operating out of like an authentic place? So I feel like he's really about it. My kids are going to be mad that they can't be like, they were begging. I don't really show them a whole lot, but they were always begging to be on it because they thought it made them famous for like
Mhm.
the few people that follow me. But Mike is delighted. And I feel like I'm going to be a different person. Do you know every single day I've worked out, I've read my Bible, I've drank my water. I'm about to be a new, you're not going to recognize me. And then I'm actually like, I don't even want to go back, but then I'm a gift. So who am I to deprive the
You do
people?
have to go back at some point to see what people are saying, but when do you wake up in the morning? Is it are we waking up earlier now? How's our sleep quality? Are we sleeping better?
How's our sleep quality? I don't know because I sleep with children. So like I'm just getting kicked and hurt and pushed into formation. So I don't know that my sweep quality, my sweep
My
quality.
sweep quality. Are we in week one? Give me a time frame here.
We're in week 1. So I'm
Okay.
acting like I've discovered the secret.
Yeah.
But if you're having a hard time, girlies out there, maybe just delete it right now. Like, what if you just deleted it right now?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
like this isn't me telling you, actually, please don't delete your Instagram and follow me at Fake Lips Real Talk. But like maybe your relationship isn't toxic. Maybe you're just watching people living out their highlights. Maybe you don't need to like cut off your dad. Maybe you just have you're following too many pages about narcissism. What I would do when I'd get on TikTok is I'd check whatever videos you'd sent me and then based on those videos I'd continue to scroll, right? And so I'd get Irish comedy, I'd get the funniest bits. And then as soon as I was like I'd be like got to go.
Yeah.
Gotta go because
Yeah.
humans were never meant to know this much. I was never meant to know that a girlie in Alabama caught her husband with another man.
Yeah.
Like the sky is falling for everybody else, but like if you just touch grass and you look around and you just live in your own life, things aren't that bad. So I'm resetting.
All right.
Do I like look better? Like am I a new person?
You have like
Do I
an
have
air about you. You're like lighter. This episode already is so light.
Yes, I'm so full of joy and joie de
I only
vivre.
want you to get back on TikTok to just watch Jake Shane. That's it. That's all
Okay,
we
well,
only need Jake Shane.
eventually I'll go and maybe I'll download it for like certain days where I'm working. And I know, like, the thing is, I was telling the people in my hair salon, you know how hair salons are, everybody's listening to everybody. I was telling the gal doing my hair, I'm like, oh, I deleted it because we were talking about something else. And the girl next doing hair next to her is like, wait, but I follow you. And where am I going to get my comedy content? And I literally looked at her, I was like, you follow me? She was like, yeah, I love it. I can't believe you're leaving. And I'm like, oh, so like I can't not do that. It brings me so much joy when people are like, I get through my day partially because you make me giggle. That brings me so much joy. It's part of the reason
Yeah.
Phil and I are here.
Yeah.
But I cannot watch one more person take a Stanley Cup and add accessories to it. I can't because that tells me that the world is ending. And when I look around, I have chubby baby feet. I live in a nice area. I have the beach. Like life is okay. The sky is not falling. And I need less of all you bitches. I'm sorry, you're making me insane.
Except for
So that's
grandma.
that. Except for I'm grandma.
Except
I
for
would
those two.
literally, they're in my ears all day long. Like I think I'm with them. It's actually become kind of a parasocial relationship. It's disturbing how much I think that I'm sitting in the room with them and that they would find me to be a hoot and a half because I
You're
can
just
code
filling in the
switch.
silence. You're like, as they talk, you're adding the third person to their talk. You're like, this, I've always been a part of this.
The best part is I can code switch. I can go from American girly to Irish girly so fast, it would give you whiplash. And it's really just bringing me back to my roots. And the Irish sense of humor is so pure and so funny and so joyful that it's bringing new life to me. So I highly recommend get off Instagram, except for me, go engage with all my content and then delete your app and follow I'm Grand Mam. It's Kevin Toomey and PJ Kirby, and they are so funny. I hope this lands on their desk because I'm obsessed with them. I would literally lick the sweat off them. Okay, so we have no outline, but I do have a couple things I want to bring up with you. And we're going to do our 911, what's your emergency? And I think, Phil, you told me you were like, I have something to add. So I'm going to.
Well, I just have I always have questions for you because I never get to see you a lot. And actually to your point of Irish code switching, I think half the time I've known you, you've code switched.
Really?
Like I know you have, yeah, like half of our voice memos, like sometimes you'll text me something and I'll hear it in your Irish accent, which is I think is a strong indicator. Maybe I guess it's just of how healthy you are in touch with your roots.
It's embarrassing. If people didn't know that, like, I've lived in Ireland, like, I'm not Irish. Okay, some people are like their great grandfather's golden retriever was from Ireland, and they couldn't
Right.
tell you what county their family's from, and the most Irish they are that they get sunburn. I am Irish, like so Irish, I can't stand next to a window without sunscreen on. Any bit of color you see on my cheeks or arms, that's all spray tan. And oh my gosh, justice for the Irish girls, because every week we have to sludge off our skin, reveal our pale selves, and then spray it all back on. Um, and I was just over in November. And when I was home, which that's what they call it there, when they're like, you came home, they'll say it even if you don't live there. I was like, this, if my soul has a place, it's here. It's almost like I've been like kept away from my like soul place. So I keep saying to Mike, I'm like, can we retire there? Our kids are Irish citizens, so they can all go to college there for free. And so I will be brainwashing, bribing, doing whatever I can to get them over there. But yeah, I do code switch, and I will. Like yesterday, I realized I texted somebody and I said, what did I say? I think I said they said, okay, I'll be over there at 3. And I was like, oh, grand. And I was like, grand. Like they don't know what that means. Or I'll say to the kids, I'll be like, did you find any crack? Which crack in Irish means fun.
Yeah.
And they know what it means, but their friends are all looking at me like, did we find crack? No. So yeah, I do code switch. And if I slide into it on the podcast every now and then, you'll have to forgive me.
Yeah, because you've been in Ireland. I've known you since you visited Ireland. I know, like, I haven't met, but like, I've seen you with your dad. You sent photos from over there. It's like you're like, you're not like white people where they go to Europe and they come back over and they're like, oh, it's so hard to get the accent out of my. I've been talking
abroad.
like this for 3 weeks.
I'm thinking about moving to Germany. Yeah. What are you thinking about?
We fully believe.
Right.
Okay. My question for this episode is. It's a two-parter. One is how much of a fan are we for the little curtain that divides first class and economy?
I am always a fan of dividing the classes. Always.
You're very
I don't know why you're laughing. I'm classes to my core, but I don't mind the curtain. I don't think it's necessarily necessary. But the problem I have with classism, have you seen that TikTok trend where it's like, old money would never, or old money aesthetic? First of all, those people are so full of shit. Okay. Come here to Palm Beach and I'll show you old money. These are the tackiest individuals you've ever seen in your life. Old money, my ass. And then they call it like quiet wealth. There's nothing quiet about $1 million mega yacht. Nothing quiet about it. There's nothing quiet about having a 20-year-old wife at the age of 65 and having so much filler in your face that you can't really smile. There's no such thing as quiet luxury. I'm sorry. Even if they're not splashing themselves in, Louis Vuitton and Hermes and Chanel, the t-shirt they're wearing is $400 and their watch is worth more than my college education. So this whole quiet wealth thing is such bananas. And I also have to tell you that the women that are really, really wealthy, even here in Palm Beach, they might have a real Birkin, which, could run them 50, 60, 70. There's the one JLo was carrying recently was $250,000. It's a very rare Birkin. However, I know some extremely wealthy women. And do you know that half, I'd say, of their bag collection, fake bitches, because they stay rich by going, it's dumb of me to spend all my money on this stuff. And some of these fake bags are impeccable quality. You're about to fall asleep.
Fake bags are the smart move to stay rich.
If you don't mind child labor, yeah.
Who needs to carry $250,000 on their arm when you can carry 5, 10?
Not me. Right. Exactly. So that's a little.
So we love the divider is what I'm hearing, because we don't love quiet. There's nothing quiet about the wealthy. We like the little shh.
Do you know that when Mike travels by himself, he travels first class? When he takes us, we sit in economy. I have a bone to pick. I'm going to publicly pick a bone with my husband. What gives, my friend? You got us in the back in coach? He's like, it's because then I can fit my laptop and work.
First class, Blakely?
Sorry, it's giving celebrity. I know it's a lot, but Finn came home. He went to the Dallas Mavericks finals with Mike, which is a once in a lifetime thing you get to do. I'm like, he's going to remember this forever. What pure memories. Oh, Mike, I love it. Comes home and he goes, We flew first class there, but dad had us fly economy on the way back. And I was like, I'm shipping you to military school immediately.
He already knows. He
He's after
already
telling
knows.
me we sat in economy. How do you know what economy is, sir? What do you need the extra leg room
The
for?
curtain. The curtain.
He wants the curtain.
They want the
We
curtain.
all, whether
We
we believe it or
pine for
not,
the curtain. We yearn for the curtain. Okay, second part of this question is what's your curtain? What's your curtain in real life though? So what's like your like if you're with someone else and then it's like, it's the Ryan
what's
Gosling
my,
gif. Like
what's my, I'm better than
it's the
you?
Velcro opening, in the in Crazy Stupid Love. Is it
Ooh,
the keyless entry? Like what's the first class curtain you're pulling in real life?
that's a good question. Can I tell you something?
Please. It's just me and you.
Kendra Scott jewelry.
Mm,
Now you're going to need to Google this. Kendra Scott or like the Tiffany heart
hmm
necklace.
hmm
Oh, my real curtain, the thing that makes me physically recoil. I'm about to hurt a lot of feelings. I apologize in advance. No, I don't. A French manicure.
Yeah.
I am having a hard time. And I could maybe wrap my head around a white tip, but once you square off the end,
Yeah.
I would like to know what white couch you are being casted on. However, the white tipped French manicure went out in 1995. Or you know what, I'll give it 2001. Same with granite countertops. Those also left in 2005. And I'm not talking all granite, I'm talking a very specific granite. I actually have it on our counters right now because this kitchen is being redone. I apparently
We all know the countertops you're talking about.
the Tuscan kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah, that to me. So I guess I have several, but I think the worst would be a French manicure.
I just want like a little like a pop-up, like a portable first class curtain. So just if I'm at a restaurant or I'm having coffee, I can just put it up and I can just pull it across.
You're
And
like,
there.
I
Instant.
won't be speaking with you.
Yeah, yeah. Just, if you're like at a cafe, if you got a coffee and you're just like, you know what? This is I'm gonna go ahead and separate us right now.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't frequently travel first class until I married Mike. And then whenever he and I travel, he books us first class and he looks like he belongs there. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. That's so kind. Thank you. I so appreciate it. Like, I feel so uncomfortable. I don't see the value in it. My dad and I used to travel back and forth to Ireland several times a year. And we'd sit our asses in coach. And my dad is 6'3". So his legs would be to his chin. And it never bothered me. A flight is a flight. I can sleep anywhere. And the meals they give you, it's just getting to feel better than everybody else. And
Mhm.
everybody loves that feeling.
Yeah, you feel like you're
And if you
getting
don't, you're
something.
lying.
There's an itch in your brain where it feels like you're getting a little something extra, and that's literally all it takes most days for people to be happy.
Agreed. Agreed. Okay, 911, what's your emergency? Do you have one or should I go first?
Go. What do we got?
Okay. I'm making everybody mad like every week because this is gonna be a hot take. Vapes. Now, I'm not anti-nicotine whatsoever, but be a grown-up. Smoke a real cigarette. It looks like you are smoking a USB charger, sir. I saw a girl yesterday in a darling outfit. She looked so fabulous, so cute. She had a cute layered haircut, nice tailored skirt, right? She pulls this thing out of her bag. She has to hold it with her whole hand. Strawberry flavored, pink, bedazzled. I physically recoiled. What are you doing, ma'am? What? You're carrying a MacBook and putting it to your mouth. Now, cigarettes are cool. Sorry, they are. They're chic, they're French, they'll kill you, but they're cool. Okay. And if I'm going to have any vice, like if I'm going to engage in any substance, I never was a huge drinker. I don't dabble in the substances. I don't want to eat tons and be lazy. So I stay away from marijuana. But a cigarette? Oh, I'm Leslie Mann and this is 40. I'll put on my cleaning gloves and a towel turban and I will go outside and hide from the neighbors with a coffee and a cigarette, and I will pretend I am in Paris.
Yeah.
They smoke in between their bites there. The few bites they take, they smoke in between there. Be a grown up, smoke a real cigarette. Vapes are disgusting. If you have
And
to drink,
do we know for sure that vapes don't kill you as well?
I haven't done the research on it. I think they were
We're,
initially sold as like they're better than cigarettes, but
I don't like.
looking
I think
cool is,
anything in the lungs that isn't air and oxygen is gonna eventually kill you.
I think looking cool is way more important than the longevity of your life. And
But
so
you
even
can't do that
if,
inside. You can't smoke a cigarette inside, and you can
no,
vape
nor should
inside.
you. That's disgusting. Also, don't smell like smoke, particularly if you're a woman. Sorry, a man mixed with a little cologne and like whiskey. That's kind of hot. A woman, you have to go in, you have to wash your hands, you have to do the whole thing, hence the towel turban. Because I feel like the women in Palm Royale. Like I really want one of those like extender bits.
You're also though a product of like 80s and 90s media, like movies, marketing, where it's like the cigarette was such a chic item, and it's not
Yes.
anymore in this day and age. Like kids don't get that media.
No,
Like
they
they don't
don't
get
think it's
vaping
cool.
is, but like we bought into the same as we bought into Diet Coke. We bought into the cigarette is the sexiest, like bond, just gorgeous thing that men or women could do to look cool.
My mom, I blame her for lots of things, but particularly my affinity for cigarettes. And here's the thing, it's my sneaky sometimes habit. Like first thing
Does
in the
alcohol
morning
is
before my
alcohol a
shower.
trigger, or can you be completely sober and still go, I'd love a cigarette right
Oh
now?
no, I'm
Like what
more
is what is your trigger for it?
my trigger for it is really crisp cold weather.
Same.
A
See,
cardigan. I'm like a divorced
what is
woman.
this?
I'm
What
going
what
like this. I'm like, oh, well, he ran off with the nanny. And so I'll look out into the abyss and contemplate my next
Mhm.
move while I recreate myself. I really am living out a Nancy Myers fantasy. And the thing was, my mom, model beautiful. And when I was growing up in the 90s, she would have her hand out of her BMW, her long, elegant, gorgeous tanned arm, which I didn't inherit. Honestly, she couldn't have stripped a
Mhm.
Brazilian, but that's besides the point. Anyway, her long, elegant arm would, and she still, here's the thing, cigarettes will make your skin awful. They'll yellow your teeth. Not her. Gorgeous cheeks, bright white smile. And I just remember the smell of a Marlboro Light mixed with luxury BMW leather. And I looked up at her and I thought, that is chic. That is camp. That is everything. And then you'd see the business women on in like 90s movies, right? And they're get them on the phone and tell them I need it by 5. Like it.
Mhm.
And then I went to France and I saw all the women there and it did it for me. So it's not like it's more like a cosplay moment where I'm
Yeah.
like, I have the cardigan wrapped around me and I have my warm cup of coffee. A cup of coffee is the trigger
Somehow we're on the coast and it's like a wool cardigan.
in an inherited,
Yeah.
old Victorian B&B, and I run a little bookshop and I'm
Mhm.
just waiting for, the man who works in the coal mines to come and rescue me from my wicked financier husband. And I
Somehow
sit,
you're always in the Hamptons.
I'm pondering life.
It's always early fall.
I wanted to be an artist, but my mother would never let me. That to me is what triggers it. So really, it's just an existential crisis if I'm
Yeah.
smoking. But yeah, no, nothing else has ever done it for me. And when I see vapes, I'm like, that is so uncool. You could not catch me dead or alive. Have you ever vaped?
No,
What are you inhaling? Grape juice?
I'll still just smoke a cigarette.
Thank you. It's like, why
Okay,
are we doing a
hold on. But
collab
let me
with
tell you mine
Welch's?
because cold is also a trigger. There's something about winter, but cold
Yeah,
is
it warms
also
you
a
up.
trigger of mine. But it's a cosplay thing. It's we bought 80s and 90s marketing because mine is almost the male version mirrored of yours, where it's like I'm an artist somehow always. I mean, I am an artist in real life, so it's not much of a cosplay, but it's like it's always fall, it's always leaves in like upstate New York
You're a
and
millionaire butterfly collector.
no, it's like my heart's been broken, but I knew I was always going to like recover and move on. And like we're having this like mid character, you know, I'm played by Jason Sudeikis. If that's how you say his last name. I'm in
Right.
some cabin in upstate New York. I'm writing a book. And there's this moment where I'm like contemplating what the heartbreak was like. And like, I need to move on, but I'm not there yet. And it's the cigarette. That's always been the like, this is what I need. And cold mornings or cold evenings and rain like trigger this in my body. Almost like if you've always been to a neighborhood for a bar and you drive through that neighborhood, you're like, should we stop and get a drink? It's like in my bones somehow. So
It's in
no,
your bones.
I've never vaped. I've never been a vapor. And yet I'll still on occasion smoke, smoke a cigarette because it's like perfect. But also drinking never like was a trigger for me either. Like I know some people that
No.
are like drink and immediately be like, "Where is my one cigarette?"
Well,
That's never
I'm
been a
not
trigger
saying
for
I
me.
wouldn't. Here's the thing, it's always a good time for me. I'm just saying the environment in which that triggers it is not drinking. But like, okay, when you see somebody walking down the street and say they're an attractive person, and then you see them whip out, I'm going to use my mouse, the vape, because it's this
Mhm.
size, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
What goes through your brain?
yeah. Something in my brain goes, "These are not serious people."
You can't be in my Nancy Meyers film. Go back to
I
Hallmark
love
where you
you. But here's
belong.
the thing is like a majority of my friends here as well vape too. And it's still like I go, I love you. I'm just not a vapor.
Yeah, I blame a lot of things, but still to this day, you'll never catch me doing an illicit drug. You'll never catch me smoking pot. I still call pot marijuana, if that tells you anything. You'll never catch me smoking pot. I'm not a huge drinker. I don't open up a bottle when I get home. I'm celebratory. I'll have a few.
And now you don't do social media either.
And I'm literally everybody that I hate, except I smoke sometimes. Cancel me if you must, but I do. And don't come with me. It'll give you cancer. Yeah, I know. I know.
I think this was the best. This was the best 911 we've had so far, to be
Really?
honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I
That
thought
was great.
911 I'm around poor people was pretty good. When I sent it to my mother, she was like, well, that was a pretty accurate retelling of that story.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Yes, it was. Anyway, your 911 of the week.
Honestly though, it's and this isn't specific to couples, it's couples that post the exact same thing on their Instagram.
Okay,
Like the
explain
exact
more.
same thing.
Not if they did
Not
a
like
collab.
we were at the same thing. It's like I post a photo, the other person posts the exact just repost the exact same photo.
So they went in together.
What are we doing here? What do we there's I've seen friends that do it as well, where it's just like I'm gonna take a photo of us at they don't want to have to do their own content. It's a repost account. It's a repost account.
Do you feel the
I'm not
same
gonna.
way
I'm
if
not.
they
Imagine if
collaborate?
Mike reposted just every single thing you did, no different caption, just reposted every. So I see a picture of you in Nashville. Here's Mike, you in Nashville. Why am I following you? What are we doing here?
Right.
I'm done with it. I'm done.
Oh,
I'm
and if they repost. So here's the thing though. Most men are like me and girlfriend at dance party. Like they don't know what to post. They're not original. They can't come up with a funny quip. Mike will look at me and he'll be like, what do I put under this? Like I'm his
then just
content
don't. Then
manager.
just don't. Just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Because I know people like that as well that like they don't want to manage a social media account. They don't want to be on Instagram. They don't want to be on Facebook.
Right.
But they do get on there. But then if they're ever tagged, it's always just a straight repost. If I've already seen the content, why am I following you for the same content? There's no reason to.
You're like, don't be on here unless you're going to create quality.
Well, we're just not going to follow you.
Oh, wow. I see. I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from. To me, I hate even worse the couples who have joint social media accounts.
Account, yeah, same
I first
account.
think who cheated, and then I think
What are you running
what
from?
Anna and Larry. Am I hearing from Anna or am I hearing from Larry? Which one of you is speaking? And I need a brand voice.
Yeah.
And if you have Anna and Larry Johnson, I can't develop. You're not one singular person. I'm fine with a party not being on social media at all. Like, you don't need to be involved in this.
Yeah.
Mike could honestly take or leave, Instagram or Facebook or whatever. He goes on to like sometimes giggle at what I said or like scroll golf videos. Ugh. Um, and I'm like, eh, I feel maybe it's because we're like everybody's on it, so we have to be, but leave it. Don't post anything. It doesn't mean anything about your marriage if you don't post on your anniversary. Now, if you have an Instagram and your posts are all like you working out or working on your car and there's no mention of your wife and it's just selfies of you and your kids, that's no good.
That's weird.
That's no good. Red flag. So you don't have to post all the time, but like your profile picture had better be you and your bride, or I don't know. There has to be a shout out somewhere. Otherwise,
I need to know you're
also
in a loving relationship.
straight men, why are you following me? Why are you following me? What use do you have for me? I know you
Maybe they're
don't find me that
cooking.
funny.
Maybe they're cooking. Maybe they're learning. Maybe they're learning things.
I just saw you on your honeymoon and you're hearting my picture of me at the beach. This is for the girls and the gays. You stay out of here.
That's a tough one. That's a
Unless you're
tough
like my
one.
cousin. And when I see my cousin in my profile views or my hearts or whatever, I'm like, hey, cuz. But like the guy I knew from high school, what are you doing? Why are you here? I see that new
Why are you
baby you
keeping
just
up?
had. Congratulations.
Why are you creeping? Why are you
Don't
keeping
tell me
up?
happy
What do you
birthday.
need to
Don't tell
what
me happy
information
birthday.
are we gleaning here that is servicing your life so well that you
I
need
got
to
a happy
like our
Mother's
photos?
Day. I got a happy Mother's Day from a married man. I'm like, I'm not your mother. I'm not your wife. I'm not the mother of your kids. So why do I get a happy Mother's Day from you? Don't
That's
need it.
sus, as the children would say.
Super sus.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't acknowledge and um I would hope they learn their lesson. But if we're not friends and you're straight, why are you following me?
I
This is
like
for
to
the
pretend
girls, the gays, and the theys.
that all my followers are in love with me though. That's how I like to interact. Is well, you've obviously seen my content, you've fallen in love with me. So, well, first off, welcome and you're among friends.
And I'm in love with you too, all of you. And it kind of goes along with your character where you're like, no, there's a long lost lover out there. Well, okay, this is the
See,
Delulu.
there's my smoking character again. It's like there's the long lost but yet torn apart soulmates.
They're
It's
back
like
in your
you're always
hometown.
pining. You're always pining and you need a cigarette to help you contemplate that loss of in
Can
your
I
life.
ask you a question though? Does
Let's
a
go.
story view mean anything? Not a story view. Does a hearted story or a story reply, like, does it really mean anything?
Just well, it's a there's so much context that can um but no, for most people like a story heart is just support. Like, oh, love it.
They should give another, it should be something else besides a
Yeah,
heart.
it
A
should be
heart
like a
is too
thumbs up, but
romantic.
like that's
Right.
the quickest
It
like
should be
heart
a
because it's like
like
yeah,
we have on
hearts is
Facebook.
a weird thing because then it's like if you've got friends that are like hearting, you're like at the gym getting, a workout in and you like post a pic and like someone hearts it, you're like, hold on, is there interest? Are they interested here? Are they in
So it
support of
depends
this?
what they heart. Like if they heart a picture of your kids, that's not nefarious. But if you're
Yeah.
at the beach in a bikini and they heart it, that
So,
means
and this
something.
is where context comes into play because do they heart just everything or are they starting, because it's like,
No,
okay,
I think if
if
they
like one
heart
of my
everything, they want a
friends,
bone.
yeah, if one of my friends is like posting a coffee shop photo and I'm hearting it, and the next is they're at the gym and I heart that, and then the next is like they're with their friends out for drinks and I heart that, like that's no, but if it's like, here's your daily life, and then all of a sudden you're a gym mirror selfie and I'm hearting that, like, okay, we're in context, there's context here, like that's the only thing I'm hearting. Ladies and
Okay, but
gentlemen, the game is being played.
can I tell you something? A heart or a like is such a lowbrow way to shoot your shot. Like actually, oh, I have a fun story. A guy from high school thought that my move to Florida was because I'd gotten divorced. Apparently, he didn't scroll too far down on my
Oh,
Facebook. Oh, no, sorry,
bless
Mike.
his bless his
No,
heart.
and it like nothing. He didn't do anything inappropriate. He like
Yeah,
shot his shot. So on my Facebook, it's mostly kids because it's for mostly family.
sure.
And so he messages me. He's like, "Hey, are you single?" And I wrote, "No, I'm I'm very happily married, and I'm actually married to Mikey G from high school. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I knew you were married, but I didn't know. I thought maybe the move to Florida was like part of a divorce." And I was like, "Nope, still very married." But you know what? This is not to out this man. I have to say that that is so much more admirable than like quietly stalking and like sending weird like
Yeah.
fire flames. You asked and I answered. And now if you're going after a single woman, the answer is still the same. First of all, it's respectful that you led with, "Are you single?" and not like, "Hey girl, you look cute."
Yeah.
Um and I just thought, how much braver, how dumb is it that now that men, if there's one straight man listening to this, hello, welcome. Now get out. Um, Let me tell you something. Stop just hearting her picture. Don't send her by God, do not send her the fire flame. Do not send her the fire flame. Send her a message. "Hey, how are you doing?" Nothing intimidating. Don't be a creep.
Straight to the request folder.
Straight to the request.
No, but it's
Well,
true. The bar for that is so wild. So it's like if you're just still hearting, like if you're actually interested and your engagement is just heart, likes, whatever.
then you're putting it on her.
Well, it's just like, what are we doing? Like I'm not, if I have people that are like in my stories, just liking them and being like, I hope one day Philip knows that I'm interested. I don't. Okay. I 100%
I think you're
do
being
not know
nice.
that you're interested just by
Yeah.
liking my stories. You know why? Because a lot of people like my stories. And this isn't like oh my God, I'm so loved. It's like, well, one, I am. But it's just very much, it's like, yeah, also, who? My mom loves my stories.
And
And
she
also,
doesn't want a
like, my
bone.
ex-wife loves my stories. Like, who, like, what? You're in a group of people that are
What
just
does
my
it
supportive
mean?
friends.
Right.
What does it
You
mean?
need to distinguish yourself. And also, it's such a low effort. And like, tell me you don't have any creativity without telling me. Like, come at it with like, give us more.
Yeah.
They have such a low bar that they have to clear for showing their interest. You know what? Props to the man from high school. Are you single? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
But if I were, I would so much the idea that it's like me getting down on one knee and proposing to a man. I would rather scrape my vulva across a cheese grater. Right, that's graphic. Than propose to a man. I'm definitely not reaching out because you heart all my photos. It
Yeah.
doesn't go like that. I understand this is heteronormative and traditionalist of me. Sorry, I'm a traditionalist. You're going to have to send a message. So if you are reaching out to women with hearts or worse, the fire flame, please stop. Send her a, "Hey, how are you?" Or, "Hey, I've been wanting to get to know you." That's bad. Can you
It
tell I've
doesn't,
been out
there's
of it
no,
for a long time?
here's the thing. There's no wrong way to like reach out to anyone. But the fact is, with the bar on the floor, with anyone, with any type of like relationship and communication, like it's just being straightforward. Like I've always shot pretty straight. And so in that realm, it's like, listen, if I'm interested in you, I'm going to tell you I'm interested in you and I want to hang out and I want to see you and I want to, go do something. If we're just liking each other's stories, that isn't interest. That's just like bare minimum social engagement that is like quite, it's like opening the door for somebody, saying hi. It's like there is a level of, but I think too, like, yeah, the engagement nowadays is very different than when I grew up. So it's like people are like, oh, they're hearting all my stories. And I'm like, that means nothing to me. Like you're gonna have to, it's not try harder. It's just like that isn't the
It's the
way.
old "hey" when they just message you "hey."
Yeah.
And I'd be
Hey,
like, "What?"
okay, cool. Like moving on.
I had dating apps for all of like 2 days because they came out right as Mike and I were getting together. And my like, you know how you had a quip underneath your thing?
No.
I put jalapenos on everything because I do. I love jalapenos and I put them on everything. And it's
No.
just like a fun little quirky fact about me because I like really think I'm Keira Knightley
Mhm.
running errands.
That tracks.
And it was always how they would interact with that would tell me whether or not I like wanted to go on a date, because some men would be like, "Jalapenos, margarita or tacos?" Like, "Okay, thank you." And then there'd be the guys who go, hey, sup. I'd be like, nothing.
Cool.
Nothing is up. I don't want to have to reach into deep internally to be able to converse with you. So I'm not answering you. Anyway, that's just married.
We're just saying, shoot for everyone out there. Shoot your shot
Shoot your
as
shot.
a DM. Likes mean nothing.
Likes mean nothing. Actually, and stop DMing, stop getting on the dating apps. Go out in the real world and have like a meet cute, like at the coffee shop. Catch somebody's glance from the other side of the bar.
That's
Sit next to
dangerous.
somebody in church.
But I have my first class curtain up. So
You can just peek and be like, hey.
I am quite unapproachable in real life.
And don't approach me if you have a French manicure. Anyway, that's all from us. We love you so much. Unless you have a French manicure, in which case we don't even want your listen. Okay, love you. Bye.